Hi, y'all. Hi. Now I'm working. Give me 1 second. I want to make sure that my microphone's at the right setting here before I absolutely just go on an absolute rant. So get prepared. I'm not happy. Sorry, 1 second, y'all. Let's see. My microphone reset here, so I just want to make sure that it's fine. Yeah, we're looking good. All right. Why? What the fuck? Hold on. Okay, this also reset. Sorry. Okay, you actually hear music now. I don't know why everything reset for some reason. All right. Listen, y'all. We gotta talk. This is unacceptable. I'm sorry. Like, I don't care if you have any sort of excuse that you want to think up and be like, oh well, this is what happened. This is what happened. Giddy's out. You know, Kobe's out. Like, I don't care. I'm sorry. I just, there is no reason for the Bulls to be losing tonight. None. Like, I don't care if it was a 1-point loss or a 30-point loss. There is no reason to lose tonight. Straight up. The Pistons have 7 players out tonight. They have their entire starting lineup out. Cunningham and Duren are also out. They're 2 best players. Okay. And you come in and lay an absolute dud. Like, I am appalled by how bad the Bulls look tonight. And this is coming from someone that was not as high in them in the offseason. And, you know, I see the 5-game winning streak. Okay, you know what? You guys are better than I thought. After tonight, though, I don't know. I'm being dead serious. I think this team is actually what I thought that they were. Like, I predicted 36 wins. Well, here's why. I understand Giddy's out. Don't get me wrong. Giddy being out is a big problem right now. And, you know, we missed him the last 2 games. The Detroit Pistons have 7 players out. 7. Their entire starting lineup is out. I am absolutely stunned to see that the Chicago Bulls tonight, who have claimed that their depth is their strength, got outplayed and the Pistons showed they have more depth with 7 players out. 7! Giddy's out. I don't care if Giddy's out. The Pistons have nobody from their starting lineup, and the Bulls lost tonight. I am at this point now, with this loss, I'm starting to think about it, bro. I'm really starting to think, like, you know, people call me the hater in, you know, back when the Bulls were winning these games, right? Beat the Pistons opening night, beat the Magic second game, right? I was called the hater, called the pessimistic person. Well, where are they at now? What do you have to say about tonight, y'all? How about tonight? This is a game that you should not be losing. Where are y'all now? I'm starting to think about this, that I might need to go back on the hater arc with this team. Like, I was on like, all right, you know what? If this team's gonna actually go out and show like they're actually like a pretty all right team, then we can move forward. And I won't be on we need to actually go and tank. But the whole point of this roster is that there's supposed to be depth to it, right? You're supposed to have the depth to get through the season, the depth to get you games, the depth to be better than the opposing player's depth. Meanwhile, tonight, Jenkins, who's on a 2-way contract, outplayed most of the Bulls roster tonight. I question the depth because guys like Dale and Terry are on this fucking roster and they're outplayed by a guy who was supposed to be in the G League for most of the season. Jenkins outplayed most of the players tonight. Again, he is on a 2-way contract. Unreal. So, once again, to just go ahead and show to everybody how pissed off I am right now, because I keep hearing just how much that this Bulls team has good depth to the roster, right? I keep hearing that this Bulls roster has solid depth to it, and that the depth is going to be the difference maker for this team and so to get them a bunch of games. And you know what? I think it played a pretty big factor in those first 5 games. That's 5 games. That's 5 games. Every game's important. We can't just suddenly just be like, oh, you know what? The depth's not going to show up today. The whole point of the depth is that you're going to show up every night and beat the team that is playing G Leaguers on their roster tonight. No disrespect to the Pistons players, man. Jenkins looks like an actual player. But, bro, I was told that the Bulls have a better bench than anybody tonight. Meanwhile, Paul Reed here, who is the 3rd string center for this Pistons team, is cooking Vooch. Like, he is just cooking Vooch all night and put up like a Jokic level stat line tonight. Like, I don't know what to say. You guys tell me that the depth is better, and here I am watching our center just getting absolutely wrecked tonight. The point guard for the starting point guard for the Detroit Pistons, who only has 106 minutes in the NBA, is cooking most of the guys tonight. Like, where's our depth? I thought it was supposed to be good. Looks like the Pistons have the proper depth to their roster, and they have a superstar. Unfortunately, as much as I want to be the person to try to be positive for this game, there's no positives in this game to me. Buzelis had his 2nd career double-double. He had 13 rebounds or whatever it was, like career high in rebounds for him. And congratulations. I genuinely do not give a flying fuck about it. The starting lineup continues to have so many issues starting games recently. Like, Cavs game, slow start, right? It wasn't until the bench came in where things started to get fixed, right? Spurs game, slow start. It took the bench to come in and fix things. Tonight, slow start. And this time, the bench wasn't able to come in and fix things. But either way, I'm looking at these starters. Trey Jones comes out, has 2 horrible turnovers to start the game, right? We're giving up wide open threes to start the game. Like, everybody in the starting lineup right now needs to be better, and it's not just from this game, it's from previous games as well. We're digging ourselves holes here where we're coming in and we're not prepared to start the game for some reason. And the opposing team, whether we're at home or on the road right now, it doesn't matter. Same thing happened against the Spurs. We get kicked in the mouth. And then it's like, okay, well, Billy has to make a quick sub and bring in someone off the bench. And usually this season, it's been the bench that kind of stabilizes things. And props to them for that. But they weren't able to do that tonight. And because they weren't able to do that tonight, all of a sudden now, we're in a serious hole for most of the first half. Meanwhile, then, it goes into a bigger hole in the 3rd quarter, and I give the Bulls some props for trying to bring it back, but it's a fake run. It's like, it just doesn't matter. It's a fake comeback. It's too late at that point, but I'm wondering to myself when I'm seeing, Buzelis, Okoro, Trey Jones, Patrick Williams, and others, like, they're out there and we're actually bringing some decent defense, and I'm like, where was this to start the game? 3 of the guys I just listed are in the starting lineup, and yet I didn't see any of these guys playing this well to start the game. Like, there is, on this specific team, there should be no guarantees of minutes. None. Because, again, apparently our depth is great, right? So, if our depth is so great, then there should be no guarantees of minutes. The starters have every reason to try to play hard tonight. And here we are. I'm just like, all right, well, where is it, guys? Like, there's a lot of guys right now in the starting lineup that, like, they should know, like, their minutes are not guaranteed. The bench, they're very capable of closing games. And if you want minutes on this roster, you better play well. But, it seemed like tonight, besides Javon Carter, who didn't see much time in the second half for some goddamn reason, didn't really want to play today. I'm lost. You're an NBA player. You get paid millions to be in the NBA. And here we are. So, I'm livid as hell. I am going to keep this stream probably relatively short, so I'm not just yelling your ears off. But I also want to go watch that Thunder and Lakers game, because I need to watch some good basketball tonight just to clear my mental. But This is unacceptable. Just straight up. If you're wondering now where the Bulls are at after this game, okay? I mean, when I saw that, like everyone's out tonight. The Bulls should win this one easily, okay? Pistons are rolling, I'm aware, but again, no Cade Cunningham, no Duren, no Tobias Harris, no Austin Thompson, no Isaiah Stewart, no Jaden Ivey, no Marcus Sasser. Like, legitimately, like, that is more than half of the rotation, like their main guys. I don't care what you have to say. It's legitimately their starting lineup and even more guys out there important. And I'm like, all right, well, either way, though, you should be winning this game, right? The Bulls' so-called depth, even without Giddey, is supposed to be really solid. And here we are, where we're not looking very good. So, after this game, though, we are now officially tied with the Toronto Raptors and the Atlanta Hawks in terms of record, and I don't know if any of them are playing tonight. That's gonna be important to look at. But yeah, it doesn't look like, oh, okay, this will be interesting to look at. But either way, we're falling, right? And it's crazy to talk about this, but the Bulls suddenly now, they've lost 5 games after winning their first 5, and they won that Philly game in between. So we're now on a 4-game losing streak. We're nearly 500 again after a 5-0 start, and it's been 11 games. Like, I don't know, it's insane for me to even say that, because it's like, you started 5-0. How the hell are we only 1 game over 500 at this point? It makes no damn sense. And in all honesty, like, I keep saying it, if the Bulls didn't win that Philly game, we would have, at this point, we would have lost 6 in a row. So I honestly look at a lot of these past games right now, and I'm looking at what's been happening. I'm like, bro, like, if we didn't come back in that Philly game, like, I still consider that Philly game wasn't the best game either from us, but, you know, credit to us, we came back. But, like, if we didn't come back in that one, like, that's a lot of bad games in a row. So, you know, a lot of people are trying to say we should be 8-2 right now. Well, this is the reason. This game shows that we shouldn't be. Like, we didn't deserve to win that Cavs game, because clearly we can't close out games. Same thing with that Spurs game. Like, being a good team, part of that means closing games. And here we are. Not only are we not closing games anymore, or, you know, being in the fight to end games, we're not putting up a fight against some G Leaguers and third stringers on the Detroit Pistons. Like, we've fallen from the talk of, oh, we got to close out these games. Like, no, it's, hey, can we start actually playing some defense in the start of games? Like, can we get off to a good start? Are our starters going to be on par with the opposing team starters, so we're not digging ourselves a hole to start the game? Like, that's all of a sudden the questions now. It's no longer can we finish games suddenly. So I'm livid as fuck right now because of just how terrible they look tonight. But I'm also just really annoyed because it's like, there is so much talk from all these Bulls fans suddenly about, like, oh my god, the Bulls are legit. Like, you know, maybe we're not necessarily gonna be like a competitive, you know, we're not gonna be like someone to be contending, but like, we're a competitive team. We're gonna be, you know, every game we're supposed to be in it. Like, we're not gonna be dropping against the terrible teams. Like, you sold a product that's like, okay, yeah, you know what? Maybe we've turned a corner a little bit with this young core to see us be winning games that we should be winning, and we should be fighting in most games. And, you know, there's some credit the Bulls have fought in a lot of tough games, but this credit of them fighting in tough games but still losing, it really goes out the window when you lose in a game like this. Unfortunately now, right? Like, we were talking about in last stream about, like, the Bulls have a bunch of games to, like, kind of get right, you know, after this little West Coast trip here. Like, I look at those games and I'm like, none of these are gimmies now, because you just lost to a team that is like, has like nobody tonight. And again, no disrespect to those guys. Like, I think Paul Reed's honestly like a pretty all right player, but he's like basically the third string center on their team. Okay. And I don't think at any point Nikola Vucevic should be getting absolutely wrecked by him, but he got wrecked by him tonight. Like, Jenkins, again, he's a G leaguer. Like, he is on a 2-way contract. He should probably be on an NBA contract, but still killed us tonight, right? It's just mind-boggling just how bad this team looked tonight. And I'm honestly thinking about it. I'm genuinely considering, like, do I have to go back on the hater arc now of just like, yo, like, I don't see any end in sight right now to where the suffering's gonna end, where we're like, oh, hey, we're gonna be better. moving forward. Like I was starting to like try to convince myself with a better start, like, hey, you know what, if this team's like okay and we get like the 6th seed or something this season, and our young course like developing at least a little bit, like we're okay. Like it's not an amazing position, but I still have some doubts in these spots, but like I'm like, okay, like maybe we can kind of figure a way out of this. But I'm honestly thinking about right now, like this whole talk about the depth that might just be a facade. Like, yeah, the Bulls have a bunch of bench points, but like that, one of the conversations I had before the start of the season was like, depth means that you have solid two-way guys like all around the roster. And I look at this team still, and I still feel like that there's still like missing pieces to like quality depth. You're not the Thunder by far. Like you're just nowhere close. Okay, and I don't think you're anywhere close to what the Pacers were last season. So I think there's just this depth talk. While the Bulls might have a better bench compared to some of the other squads in the NBA, like the argument though is that you gotta, if you're gonna have good depth, you also need to have like a good front line, right? Like that's what makes your depth so scary, is that if you have a good front line and also a great depth, it's like, oh hey, like that's actually that's a really like a team full of depth. But if it's just like like kind of quality NBA players up and down the roster, like I don't know what to really talk about at this point. So I gotta see some convincing stuff moving forward here, but this is frustrating as fuck right now. I'm considering going back on the hater arc, and I don't want to go back on the hater arc right now. And I mean that in like a hyperbole type of way, where I'm just like, where's the end? Like I don't know what to talk about. Like it just, this team just kills me right now with how bad they're looking. I saw you, Matt Skizzy. Sorry, I've been ranting for most of the stream. Point to the paint differential. So it wasn't that big of a difference in terms of points in the paint in general. Like the Bulls and the Pistons both attack the paint, but to me the bigger issue is that you gave up 66 points in the paint tonight to a team that does not have all their starters. Like, how do you give up 66 points in the paint to a team that doesn't have their starters? Like, that's the part of it that just mind boggles me. It's like, I'm already concerned about the Bulls like paint defense. It's already terrible, but like all of a sudden now I'm like, bro, like what the fuck? Like how is this possible? I mean, the Bulls came in bottom 5 in paint defense, and it just got worse tonight, and not a single Piston starter was out there tonight. Like, this is unacceptable. Unacceptable. I don't care if Vooch is a bad center defensively. This is on everybody. Like, everybody was getting beat tonight. Like, how many times did Karis LeVert back cut somebody and get an easy layup out of it? Like, it's those things that also matter. That's not on Vooch, that's on everybody, right? And don't get me wrong, Vooch was awful tonight. He flat out sucked. But it's like, we can't just blame, like, oh, bad paint defense on one guy, right? It's on everyone. Like, the Bulls had their good defenders tonight, and here we are, and I'm just like, what the fuck happened? Like, you guys weren't willing to stop guys from just attacking the paint. It's just terrible. Hi, Wooditch. I don't even know if you're still here. Hi, Rosley. I know I had chat up. I wasn't really even looking. I was just ranting. I'm sorry. Why do we suck now? Lots of things. So, I mean, like, yeah, Giddey, these last 2 games being out does hurt. But, like, Giddey wasn't out against Milwaukee. We got wrecked in that one. Or, I mean, maybe not wrecked, but, like, it was pretty convincing for Milwaukee. So, like, yeah, I know the Giddey absence is hurting, but, like, again, you should be winning without Giddey tonight. It's just unacceptable. Big reason that the Bulls are starting to suck right now is that Vucevic has just sucked these past, like, few games here. Vooch has, like, he had such a great start to the season that was, like, all-star caliber, and now we're looking at, like, these past games, and it's just, like, yo, like, 9 points against Cleveland, 11 points against San Antonio, bad shooting in both, like, him not performing is killing us right now, because he's supposed to be a consistent, like, at least 16 on efficient shooting. That's what he's supposed to be, but he's been awful in these last 3 games here, so... that's a big reason why all of a sudden now we're losing, is because we're missing a guy that is supposed to be a consistent offensive force. Other areas right now that's like, it's concerning for me is that the Bulls offense is like, they're continuing to attack the paint really well, and I give them credit for that. Their shot selection and their ability to get to the free throw line is concerning because it's adding up in terms. And what I mean by that is that like they're shooting a pretty good percentage from 3-point range, but they're only taking about 35 attempts per game. And so like I appreciate you always like looking to only shoot good quality shots, but you're also kind of putting yourself in this weird spot where the math is not helping you because you're attacking the paint consistently, but you're not getting to the free throw line. And so if you're not gonna get to the free throw line, you got to make up with it with 3-point shots, and you're not doing that. And if you look at the most recent box scores right now for the Bulls, like, or just sorry, total points for the Bulls, right? Like the Bulls have consistently not gotten to like 120 recently. Like, it's been like, look, it's 113, 117. We got to 122 in this one, but 110, 113, 130, 116, right? Like the last time we were like, you know, scoring pretty well was that New York Knicks game, right? And suddenly now the Bulls offense doesn't look as good. And Giddey was a part of these games, right? Like it's not like Giddey missed, you know, this game against Milwaukee, right? Or he missed this game against New York. Like yeah, we were missing him these past 2 games, but like you're still seeing that he was part of these games where we were losing and still not putting up or getting to like 120. Add on top of that, right, the Bulls defense has not been that great. Hence why my concerns at the start of the season, like it looks like they're pretty valid right now. It's not necessarily just about the Bulls like giving up their like wide open threes, and they, you know, they weren't going down for those teams earlier on in the season, right? Like there is that, and honestly the Bulls are still kind of in like a decent area with that number. I'll pull up the stats now. Where like wide open three, like the opposing wide open threes against us, like they're still not going down at like an insane rate. Like they're just kind of finally just starting to like kind of go down. But our lack of interior defense or our inability to protect the paint is killing us right now. And we're consistently giving up a lot of points, as you can see here, right? Consistently giving up into the 120s, which is now all of a sudden with the lack of scoring, right, from like Vucevic or just a lack of overall scoring from the offense, it's resulting in L's instead, right? You know, the Bulls got two wins at the start of the season. They didn't score into the 120s, right? But they were able to limit their opponent to 111 and 98, right? And in these games, they just like flat out outscore their opponent. Now you're at the point here where we're not outscoring our opponent anymore, and our defense is like maybe coming back down to earth. But it's just a showing that if you thought this team defensively was like fixed, like it's not. Like we still have issues defensively right now. And we're seeing it even without like Giddey on the floor, for example. Like that's what's like the biggest concerning part about it. It's like you know, Giddey's not on the floor right now. It's a whole issue. Let's see here. That's very tight. We gotta go to wide open. Like if you look at this number here, okay, so like remember this number. Like I was looking at this early in the season, so just to show you what was going on early in the season, okay, I'll go through let's see, let's just go through October, okay. So on wide open threes early in the season for the Bulls, like for opponents shooting wide open threes against us, I should say, sorry, it was honestly just like it was insane the number that the Bulls, like how lucky the Bulls were kind of getting here. And like credit to some of the Bulls defense in a sense of like, hey, like we're doing a pretty decent job of like running them off the 3-point line, but this number was like, this is not sustainable. Like we're not giving up that many attempts, right? So like credit to the Bulls here, but like, you know, teams are not going to just shoot under 30% on wide open threes. It just wasn't going to happen. Now, like, and that's October, and I'll even go back earlier and just show you like, or I don't know if I can actually here, but like it was. Let's actually do this. Yeah, let's do it. Okay, I'll show the first 2 games of the season, I guess. But it was just insane to see like the Magic and the Pistons, like they were just so bad in those first 2 games, and even in the Atlanta Hawks game in a sense as well. But let's see from just like, yeah, I mean like. Opponents were shooting 6, 7, like it's just ridiculous. So it was honestly just like it was pissing me off with how like there was some luck involved, right? Wait, is this even right? I don't know if this is right. Wait, what? Oh, I'm reading this number. Wait. hold on, no, this isn't correct. I remember specifically. Oh wait, no, from the. That's that. No, I didn't put this in. My bad. Hold on. Okay. I go here and. Oh yes, let's do 22. Sorry, trying to get this all load. Okay, yeah. So in the first 2 games for the Bulls, right, like opponents shot 15% on wide open threes, which again, credit to the Bulls for running them off the 3-point line. I mean, we were giving up the least amount of wide open threes, but like this just wasn't sustainable, right? I'll even add in the Atlanta Hawks game, which I believe was after this date. I could be wrong. But like even after the Atlanta Hawks game, it's just like this is not sustainable. It just isn't. Add on top the fact that the Bulls were still giving up so many points in the paint. Like we were still like, I mean, yeah, it's just this is after the Atlanta Hawks game. It was a little bit better, but it's still not sustainable. And so now we go to today, right? And so let's just go to November only if we want to do that, right? So I'll only just show November. We'll get rid of the shit. So like you're just seeing now that like, I mean, many NBA players, if they're wide open for 3-point range, are gonna knock it down, like at a 50% clip or like high 40s or in the 40s. Okay, you're seeing now like, hey, here we are, like it's 40% from the field on wide open threes. So it's like I do think this is part of it. So like there's part of this is just like going back to the kind of the mean in terms of like 3-point defense and everything like that. Like still credit to the Bulls, like they're not like giving up a ton. Actually that's not correct. Like we're actually giving up we're like in the middle of the pack here, but like this number is just drastically higher and it's like not even like that high overall. Like we're, you know, we can see, you know, better honestly from our opponents. So there's that, but then it's again add on top of the fact that the Bulls are terrible right now in terms of points in the paint, right, or defending points in the paint. Like you're just giving up the most quality shots consistently, and it's just not going to work. Like unfortunately, this is just not a way to defend. You need to take away one of these. I'm not saying that you have to be perfect. I'm not saying I'm expecting like perfection out of this squad, right? But you have to take away one of these. That's all. That's what it is. So I'm getting the chat here now. They have no rim protector and they have no elite pick and roll defenders with the exception of Io at a point of attack. I mean, I would even argue that like Trey Jones has like been like the other guy. And I first and foremost, I think Io was not very good defensively tonight. You can say that about almost everybody besides maybe like the little run we made in the fourth. But like I even think Io, who I've praised a lot for his defense, he was not very good defensively tonight. But it's a showing of just like, if you know that you don't have a rim protector, okay, and we've talked about the Bulls trying to be a collective defensively, then you have to be on your game on the perimeter. Like your point of attack defense is so critical if you know that there's not a rim protector back there. But even if there was a rim protector back there, like the point of attack defense is still so important. Like you cannot just be lollygagging your way on defense and just be like, oh, don't worry, we got a rim protector back there. Like the Utah Jazz got a full showing that like, hey, like even we have Rudy Gobert in his prime, like he can't make up for all of our defensive mistakes. So it's so frustrating just to see, because it's like I expect some better defense from guys like Okoro, Buzelis, Io. I mean, Trey Jones has been honestly insane this season, so I'm not maybe gonna like look at him, but like a lot of guys though, like, I'm looking at these guys, I'm like, I expect you to be better defensively. And when Dalen Terry and Julian Phillips get their minutes, like I expect them to come in and try to be something defensively. But unfortunately, I feel like that, like we look at some of these guys and we think that they're like, for example, Patrick Williams, like we think that they're supposed to be like good defensively, but like for most of Pat's career, he's just been average. And like he got cooked by Javonte Green tonight. Like it's not like there's some like, it's not you're bringing a guy off the bench that's going to be like an all NBA level or all defensive level defender or someone that's close to it, right? Like none of the guys on the bench, I hate to say it, but none of the guys off the bench right now are going to be like an Avery Bradley in his prime defensive years, right? None of the guys are coming off the bench. You're just suddenly just be locked down defenders like how we are with Caruso. Unfortunately, it's just that is the reality, and like and even if you want to say Dalen Terry is that, he just is a negative on offense. And so once again, it goes back to the depth argument of just like the depth isn't really that great if you're looking at guys and you're like, well, you're a negative on this end. Like it's that's not good. That's not good depth. So I think that's like something that we're gonna have to start looking at, because this is my concern. And hey, I mean, start of the season we were looking great in terms of depth, but and don't get me wrong, I'm very much aware that Kobe, Collins, and Giddey are out. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm aware that we're missing 3 key pieces right now. But tonight, just at looks of things, right? Just how things looked. Like tonight, just specifically, I'm like, the Pistons have more depth than us, and they're missing 7 guys. Like, I don't know how that's possible, but that's what it looked like tonight. And I feel like with a team that's supposed to be priding themselves on their depth, you should not be getting outplayed tonight. You just shouldn't. So, just unacceptable. Worst game of the season? Oh, by far. This is by far the worst game of the season. And honestly, I don't know if you're still here, Viper Strike. Like, I'm like, all of a sudden, like, heavily reconsidering everything. Like, I think that this whole depth thing is pissing me off right now so much, because it's like, that's supposed to be the mantra and everything like that. And if there's maybe one thing that the Bulls can build is a team with good depth. But if this so-called good depth is supposed to be this good, then you should be beating this Pistons team easily, right? And we're not. Like, seven guys out, entire starting lineup out, and you lose tonight. I'm like, all right, well, I don't trust your depth all of a sudden now. Your depth to me looks really bad. Or it doesn't look on par to the Pistons third stringers and G Leaguers tonight. And yeah, it's not like there was a starter out there for the Pistons. Like, you can't just be like, oh, well, a starter took over or something like that. No, everybody that was on the floor tonight for the Pistons is either a bench player or someone that's part of their G League squad. It's not, or a two-way player, I should say. It's not like there was a starter out there. So, to see this is just like, it really starts to make me question again that, you know, everyone's trying to say, oh, AK kind of figured out the solution or like what the formula is. It's like, I don't know again. Like, I was kind of hoping that maybe the depth can like carry them to a 6 seed, but after tonight, I'm questioning, like, you know, we keep thinking that the Bulls are going to have all these gimmies, and, you know, there's all this talk about the Bulls having the hardest schedule to start the season. And I'm like, okay, great. But like, if the Bulls are supposed to beat the easy teams moving forward, what happened tonight? Like, I can't trust this team to beat the easy teams moving forward. Therefore, I can't trust this team to take advantage of their easier schedule moving forward. Like, I hate now that we're looking at that as like, oh, don't worry, the easier schedule's coming. I'm like, well, I don't care. Like, the Bulls could very easily lose to these teams that have only 1 win in the Eastern Conference right now. Like, you know, the Pacers are coming up or something like that. I'm like, I can see us losing to that team. You know, the Utah Jazz we play next, and I think some Bulls fans in their head, they think, oh, that's gonna be a walk in the park. But I've been talking about many times on the stream, like, that Jazz team is no walk in the park. You could definitely lose that game, especially if Markkanen's playing. So I just, all of a sudden, again, I'm like, everything to me is like, after this game, I'm like rewiring everything in my head. I'm like, yo, like, great start, but hey, the season's not 5 games long, guys. Like, we can't just celebrate a 5-game winning streak. It's just not possible. We should have 100% won without Giddey against this team, but man, this offense hurts to watch without him. I mean, I thought the Spurs game, honestly, the Bulls offense looked pretty solid. Like, I didn't think that the Bulls were like missing a ton without him in that Spurs game. Obviously we're missing him a lot tonight, but it's like, still, I really just don't care that Giddey was out tonight. Yeah, I do agree though that, yeah, he is definitely a major part of this Bulls tempo and everything like that. But, and, you know, the Bulls were, you know, even tonight, the Bulls actually did a good job in the fast break. Like, you know, they got out and ran, and, you know, they got into more fast break points tonight. But, like, that's not going away even without Giddey. It's just, you can tell though that there's definitely some moments where it's like some hit-ahead passes need to be thrown out there. But, yeah, he's definitely missed, but still, I just, once again, like, if this, I'm not trying to just be like this idiot that's gonna be repeating shit, but like, every time that we bring up that someone's out, all I can just think in my head is that, like, well, I was told this team has depth, right? So like, it really shouldn't matter if someone's out that much, because the team is supposed to come out and, Stacey King keeps talking about the fact that we have like 3 starters on our bench. Okay, like if we're missing 2 starters like we were tonight, then like we should still have 5 quality starting level players out there tonight, right? And it just didn't look like that. It looked like we had a bunch of 2nd string and 3rd string players out there tonight. And yes, Giddey is by far has been the best player, and like there's nothing that can replace him in a sense. But like again, I've been told that we have starter caliber players on our bench. So if we're missing starters, we can still fill in the gaps because we have starter caliber players on our bench. And it's just like, I mean, I disagree with that sentiment earlier, but like now I'm like really gonna heavily push back on the fact that we have starter caliber players, like 3 starter caliber players on our bench. Like I don't think we do. Like even like you can maybe argue it when Kobe White is officially back and Giddey obviously comes back and it's like, okay, Trey Jones is also on the bench now, so it's like, okay, like maybe you can argue 3 starter caliber players, but I'd argue right now that like at this current moment in time, like even with Giddey playing, like there's at most there's 2, and even then I'd argue that there probably isn't even 2. So like props to Herder. I give him a lot of props, but like I don't really think he's at this point in his career like he should be starting, really. I mean, like the good game tonight, but Herder is also a guy that I tweeted out after he had that horrible foul at like right before halftime. I was just like, I would bench him, honestly. Like his defense was awful the entire first half, and then he goes and commits those 2 terrible fouls at the end of the first half, and I'm just like, bro, like yeah. So a lot of thoughts right now going through my head. Most of the good teams can do this against the Bulls. The margin for error is slim when you don't have consistent 20-point scorers. I completely agree. Not having a consistent 20-point per game scorer, and Vooch is not one of them, it really puts it puts a lot of pressure on these guys to try to go out and do stuff that they aren't capable of doing. So I agree. Like you need it. It's almost like necessary, at least in my opinion, with the way that the Bulls are kind of going right now. Like this guy, like it was an alright game tonight. The turnovers were terrible by him though. But like this guy has to become a 20-point per game scorer, because I'm really starting to question, like, again, I'm very much aware that everyone's talking about like, oh wow, it's like team basketball, like many guys in double figures, but I keep bringing up that like, hey, you can go around and look at like a lot of teams right now, and a lot of teams have a like superstar that's like averaging like high 20s or low 30s points per game, and they still have like 6 guys in double figures. Like I just, the whole talk of like, well, if we have like a superstar or something, that we don't have guys in double figures, and the ball won't be spread around enough. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like it just bothers the crap out of me when I see that sort of stuff, because it's like, no, that's not the case. I could bring up many teams right now that's like, no, like that, like they're totally fine. Like they're still like having like 6 guys in double figures, just like how the Bulls are. Hold on, let me just show you. Like for example, like the Milwaukee Bucks like have Giannis, right? And everyone's like, oh well, Giannis is like I made a joke to somebody the other day that because there were so many Bulls fans after that Spurs game that were saying like, it's not about the Bulls needing a superstar, the Bulls just need to find a way to close games. And I'm just like, no, the Bulls need a superstar. I'm sorry. But I made a joke about how, so many people were talking about like, oh, well, I'm just happy not watching isolation basketball because I don't want to just watch someone isolate and slow down the offense. I'm like, bro, the Bulls could have like Luka Doncic or like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and they'd still be pissed at him because they isolated too much apparently for them, even though like they're the best ISO players in the fucking world. Like it, for some reason, the Bulls fans would still be pissed at those guys, even though like even though it's supposed to be like that's how it's supposed to go at the end of games. But like for example, the Milwaukee Bucks have a 33-point per game scorer, and you look at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and I won't even count Kevin Porter Jr. because he's played 1 game. Like they have 7 guys in double figures. Bobby Portis is almost there. Like it's very doable to have many guys in double figures with a superstar. Thunder, best team right now. Like honestly, they're building a dynasty, right? Shea is up here, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? This is without J-Dub, right? Like it bothers the shit out of me. That's just the way that like people talk about this stuff. Let's see. I think New York's another team. I could be wrong though. Okay, no, they're not. But like either way, I just the Knicks are in a better spot than us right now. let's just be honest. Like they have many guys there able to get 16 tonight. It's just it's very shocking. And the Sixers, yeah. Like the Sixers are also one of these teams that like they have like a lot of guys scoring and like, you know, take out Embiid, but like there's a lot of guys scoring for this team. Like it's okay even if someone is out there and scoring a bunch of points, it's so fine. I'm being salty because just to some Bulls fans right now, like I shouldn't be, but I'm like the whole talk that this like, oh no, we don't need certain things is just, it pisses me off. I won't even count Darius Garland. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Like, again, I'm not even counting Garland, and I know he's going to come in and average double figures. Like, it's very doable. Mitchell's averaging 30, and here we are. I mean, honestly, the Pistons might be one of those teams. I haven't even looked at them recently. They've been off to such a great start. I know Cunningham just had like the most ridiculous game ever, but like, I mean, yeah, here we are. It's just like, bro, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Like, I'm not even counting this guy. Like, Ron Holland's almost there. It's like, it's just mind-boggling the way that some Bulls fans talk about this. But yeah, I am adamant that you can still have a lot of guys in double figures and have a superstar on the roster. It's very doable. But right now the Bulls don't have that, and I'm so sitting here twiddling on my thumbs about like, how are the Bulls even gonna get one? We'll talk about the Anthony Davis idea in the stream, but like, I just, I think Bulls fans need to come to the reality here that like, it's either some important players are getting traded, or you need a tank, because you're not going to sign him in free agency right now. And I say you need a tank because you didn't do the rebuild properly. So again, it's still early in the season, of course, but. Whew, I mean, I think that we should all be feeling a lot worse about the Bulls now than compared to the start of the season. I'm sorry. Like, if you don't, then I just don't know what to tell you. This is just flat out unacceptable tonight. Billy Donovan, we're not talented enough to not to play desperate. I mean, I agree with them, but like, why wasn't your team ready to play tonight? Yeah. Let's see what the Bulls get this season if they had Giannis or MVP candidate type of player. It's really hard to gauge, but like, because like we don't know about fit and everything like that. But I think in the East, like if you had a Giannis, like to me you're guaranteed at least 6. And right now with the Bulls, like there's no guarantee of them getting 6. Like, I mean the Bucks are like in the mix, and Giannis missed tonight, but like the Bucks could win 2 games and they're at the 2nd seed, which I mean you can argue maybe the Bulls can just win 3 and they're back up, but with the way things are going, it looks like we're closer to being a 500 team rather than being like a solid team. So I think with like a Giannis, you're at very least like you're getting like 46 wins bare minimum, and potentially even more. Because like the Bucks are kind of playing how the Bulls kind of play, and it's working better than the Bulls are playing currently. So just keep that in mind. And mind you, like I want to make this clear, like, yeah, they're 7-5, so they only have 1 more win than us, but like 1, they beat us, but 2, Giannis has missed 2 games. Or honestly, no, I think honestly the game that he missed, the Bucks still won. It was against the Warriors. So but yeah, I mean it's closer, I guess, but I feel better about the Bucks right now than us. Bucks got destroyed by the Hornets tonight, yeah, but they're without Giannis tonight. Giannis didn't play tonight, so but, I mean, you could argue that they should have probably won that game still, but I don't know. What you're seeing the value of superstars in this league with this team full of role players. I mean, look, I think role players are still very like important. But yeah, like you definitely need like a superstar, but you at the very least, like you need an all-star. And Giddey has arguably been that all-star to start the season, but you're gonna need that sort of solidified guy. It is what it is, and unfortunately, like Buzelis has not had a consistent start to the season. It's been very up and down. Vucevic, who was like sort of like an all-star to start the year, is just dipped off a cliff suddenly, which is very concerning for him. And obviously Giddey's been out, but like, Giddey didn't have like the best game against the Bucks. Like he didn't make a bucket against the Bucks in the second half. and he that was not when he rolled his ankle. So there's definitely issues right now that are popping up here because of the lack of firepower this Bulls team has, and to get you through a season, like, your role players can only bring you so far. And so I'm a little bit concerned right now still. I mean, I was already concerned about how the hell the Bulls are even going to get a superstar level talent besides getting lucky in the lottery. You know, the Bulls, like, you know, losing to playing again. We have like a 1.something% chance, and we get it. But I mean, other than that, I don't know. Like, I don't think you're not trading for one at this point, I don't think. Herder also had a horrible foul and Reed that kind of swung momentum. I mean, Herder was terrible tonight on defense on all aspects. Like, he had 5 fouls. A lot were unnecessary. That, bro, I'm sorry, but like this play, I'm just gonna pull this up because like I yelled so loudly in my house that I felt bad. But like the play to end the first half, bro, I lost my mind. Okay, like I lost my mind watching what the hell Herder just did. I even tweeted out, I was just like, okay, bro, if you're not gonna be in the game, bro, like, just sit. And you know what? I mean, hey, he was part of a comeback, I guess. So maybe wrong on my part, but I honestly don't even think Herder played that great today, even though it was 10 for serious. But it's just like that just jumped into him. Like, it was just terrible by Herder. Like, this is just so bad. It's just so terrible. And I tweeted out, I'm just like, I would sit Herder for the rest of the game. Like, that is just unacceptable on so many levels. To see that, it's so bad. And I think Herder, and it's just crazy to say, because like I think Herder defensively this season has been like honestly pretty solid. Besides like getting back cut here and there, which we saw him get back cut a lot tonight. But it's just like I was just like, you've got to be kidding me! Like, that is so bad. All right, hold on. If you're still here in chat, can you give me a thumbs up? If you're able to. I think the NBA just got they just put a copyright on my or the bot got a copyright for me playing that whole thing. Thank you, I appreciate that. Yeah, sorry, I'm just seeing that the yeah, I appreciate it. Okay, yeah, the the NBA bot got me for that copy. Oh, okay, it's gone. Okay, cool. See, we're back now officially. It said my stream could be temporarily blocked because of I'm showing, you know, basically the game. So, yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, man, I'm just, God, I'm so pissed. I had to show that Herder clip because like I legit screamed at my television. I'm just like, what are you doing? That is just unacceptable on so many levels. Yeah, it's so bad. Okay, no more film tonight because very clearly the NBA bot is on my ass. Hi Box, what's going on? I'm getting to all your stuff here. I see you guys. What's the most you would give up for AD? So to move off of the terrible game tonight, Box, feel free to talk about this game if you want to, because I lost my mind tonight, and I'm honestly, Box, I'm considering go back on my hater arc. You know, the 5-game winning streak kind of like, you know, what, I'm not gonna be hating, you know, or I mean this like in a hyperbole type of way where I'm just like, I'm not always thinking like, well, I don't really know where this team's going, right? Like, I kind of started to convince myself, you know, like after the 5-game winning streak, okay, like, you know, if we can kind of hopefully find our way to like a playoff spot, like we're in like an okay spot, but no, I mean, after tonight, bro, I'm just like, I might just be ready just to go back and say like, this team needs to lose or something. This is just ridiculously bad. But yeah, we'll talk about AD here because I know, bro, so many Bulls fans are on this whole AD trend because of, you know, if you aren't aware, Nico Harrison got fired. That was major news, and it took him long enough. Took him 9 months to do it. And now because Nico Harrison got fired, because like he was basically the reason why that like AD was there, because he wanted Anthony Davis. That Luka trade looks worse and worse by the day, etc., etc. But he was all in on AD, right? But I am very much against looking to get Anthony Davis. because now that it looks like he might become available because now Nico's not there anymore. But there is a world, and unfortunately it's not ever going to happen, but like that you can maybe convince me for an Anthony Davis trade, but I'm going to give you like the big like variables that need to be in play for it to happen. If we're talking about giving up Buzelis, no, not going to happen. If you're talking about me giving up any first round picks of our own, no, it's not going to happen. Okay. There's no way in hell I am giving up Buzelis for Anthony Davis, and there's no way in hell I am giving up any of our own first round picks for Anthony Davis. Okay. Reason being, there's multiple reasons, but I think tonight is a big showing. Okay. About that, if you think that this team is an Anthony Davis away from becoming a like really good team, okay, our so-called depth that is supposed to be so damn good got beat by third stringers and G leaguers tonight. So I would argue that our depth is really not that good. So if you want to say like, oh, we can like, you know, take from our depth and like, you know, invest in Anthony Davis, well, I feel like if you do that, we have like nothing left over. It would put you in a really tough spot. You're all of a sudden going from being a team with so-called depth to all of a sudden now you're top heavy, and you're paying a shit ton of money to Anthony Davis. The Bulls are going to have financial flexibility, okay? I keep reminding people that it's not going to be $100 million like some people want to say it is. It's also not going to be 80, but we're going to have some cap space for next offseason, at least projected to be, right? So using it all on Anthony Davis to me is just not a good decision. And not to mention then you're also giving up more. Like you're not just giving up your cap space, you're giving up more than that. You're giving up other assets here. Now here's the one situation where I could be convinced into an Anthony Davis trade. Okay. And I'm not, this is me saying this in a way that I'm not even looking for this team to win. Okay. So like if AD is getting traded here, it's just because we're giving the Mavericks, like we're breaking them out of kind of jail for where they're at right now, because they are in a weird spot where it's like they have Cooper Flag, but they also have very washed Klay Thompson and Anthony Davis, who is not in shape, and Kyrie Irving is going to come back in maybe March, but like he's also, you know, in his mid-30s. So like they really, like in all honesty, the Mavericks should be rebuilding around Cooper Flag and, you know, trying to get as many assets as possible. The only situation that, and like again, this is never gonna happen here, but if there was ever a situation for me to be like, I can maybe convince myself into taking Anthony Davis, it's if the Mavericks are willing to part with any of their first round picks for him, or to just get rid of his contract, which again, it's not gonna happen, right? Like the Mavericks instead should be looking to trade Anthony Davis for assets in return. But if, you know, for example, like if the Bulls are sending expirings over to the Mavericks, and so I'll bring up the Mavericks cap situation here. And so like the Mavericks are just like, they're so desperate to get salary cap relief that they're just like, okay, like, you know what? We'll take Vooch, who's on an expiring. We'll take Collins, who's on an expiring, right? And, you know, someone else that's on expiring, like we'll take Dalen Terry or something like that to match up the contracts and everything. And it'll legitimately like get rid of $60 million off our books for next season. Like, and we'll also attach a first round pick for it. Like, you know, I don't know how legitimate, like there's like no way it's ever going to happen. But like, if that is ever offered, then like, yeah, I'll take it. Like, I'll take AD, I'll take the first round pick. And then we'll look to try to trade Anthony Davis for assets later. Because like, we'll see. My only thing right now with AD, like, and the only reason why that would be a bad idea is that like Davis looks like he's legit out of shape. So I don't know how legitimate of a trade asset he even is at this point right now, because like he looks honestly awful. But it like my idea would be that like you're hoping that AD is like in good overall shape, that someone's enticing enough to trade him. So I just, that'd be the only way, but I don't, it's probably not gonna happen. The Mavericks are probably looking to try to get a first round pick in return for Anthony Davis, and I'm here to tell you, like, I don't know how many teams would be willing to do that. Davis's contract is so large in this current CBA that like it almost kind of negates any value that he'll bring. Like if you thought Levine's contract's large, then look at this one. This is ridiculous. And for a guy that unfortunately he's on, he's past 30, like he's kind of declined the past couple of years. Like he's still obviously like very, when he's right, he's still very good, but he's injury prone. He's looks like he's out of shape currently, and he can't hit the 3-ball right now. Yeah, I don't know. I don't. It just doesn't feel like of that valuable of an asset. He is definitely a very win now type of player, and you only get like maybe like a couple of good years left in him at like playing at like all-star, maybe like fringe all NBA level. So, yeah, for me personally, I'm staying away from Anthony Davis on all fronts. To me, there's no reason to be making a trade like that. And also, it really pisses me off that Bulls fans are looking to make that sort of trade. And I mean this in a sense of like, as good as Anthony Davis is, he's a guy that he's a play finisher, right? Like he needs someone to set him up to be successful. Hence what LeBron did in their championship run. AD has been like kind of adamant, like he needs help, like getting, set up. But like if you have a guy to set him up well, right? Like he can be one of the best finishers in the league. And I already know what you're saying. It's like, well, you have Josh Giddey, right? Like Giddey can help set him up great. To me, though, what this team still desperately needs is that they need a guy that can go and get their own shot consistently. Like, if I'm looking to go and get a superstar or an all-star right now, I need a guy that can have the ball in their hands and that can go and play make and run the pick and roll effectively and be the half-court offense and give them the ball at the end of games right now, because the Bulls are not able to close out games because they don't have a go-to guy. That's what I need, right? Like I would, like, for example, if we're going off of like fringe All NBA or like fringe All Star right now, guys, like I would much rather trade for De'Aaron Fox right now compared to trading for Anthony Davis right now. And it's because I know Fox can go and create his own shot off the dribble. He's one of the best in crunch time. Like he's a guy that's going to consistently give you like 25 points per game every night, right? Like that's the type of guy I would rather go and get. Now, obviously, it's like, well, Giddey and Fox won't work together. Like I get it, but I'm just saying, like, I'm looking for a guy that's a little bit more on ball compared to Anthony Davis, who brings a lot of impact, especially defensively. But on offense, he's a very overall good scorer, but he needs help still, and he can kind of create for himself a little bit, but he's been kind of adamant, just like he's a play finisher versus a playmaker in a sense. So. That's kind of where I'm at right now when it comes to Anthony Davis and the idea of having him on the team. Like I think this team is still missing that that sort of 3-level scorer type of guy. That's who I would be personally going after, not Anthony Davis, who cannot hit the 3-ball right now, and it needs kind of someone to set him up to kind of help him. Like he's one of the best like number 2s in the game, but like he really shouldn't be like a number 1 in a sense. Like Kyrie Irving is like really needed to set up AD, and they just obviously don't have Kyrie right now. So I don't love it. I think it's terrible overall for the Bulls, and not just in terms of like timeline aspect, but just in terms of like overall fit. I understand that the idea is that he would take Vooch's minutes, right? But AD's been adamant he doesn't want to play center. So like it's not like we're gonna fix our rim protection issues at center because we're gonna still have Vucevic around. So, I'm a little bit like, yeah, no thanks, I'm good. Monte's unleashed that dog he supposedly has in him. I mean, yeah, I'm. The thing is like I think he has it in him. I think we're just a little bit too ahead of what we were expecting from him this season, right? In terms of consistency and like finding ways to create off the dribble consistently. I think we're just a little bit too ahead. I think we were expecting a lot more after we saw him preseason, but like that was just a glimpse of what can happen in the future. It just, for the season, it's not going to happen just yet. So I hope we see it eventually in him, because I do think he has that in him. But for now, I need him to work on his consistency overall in the game on both ends of the floor, offense and defense, and find ways to consistently finish his layups around the basket, and not turn it over with just sloppy dribbling. let's clean that up first, and then we'll figure out the rest of the scoring ability later. But yeah. What's a feasible route to acquire a superstar or a couple stars in the next 2 seasons? So, I mean, the best way to me is to draft. I still think that's the best way. You have to draft someone and hope they become that sort of guy. I mean, I really don't think the Bulls have, like, the best overall assets to try to get one. Like, I know that we have our own picks, but, like, I think other teams are in better positions right now to, like, trade for a superstar if they become available. The assets are weird because it's like, I think some teams might look at the assets and be like, okay, well, we want Giddey and we want Buzelis, and it's just like, well, that's like our team, you know, like that's basically our future. So it's like it puts. I don't think the Bulls just basically what I'm saying is I don't think the Bulls have like a plethora of assets to kind of give out here. There is a world, right? Like you could trade Buzelis and trade like 5 firsts and you know, add in a bunch of salary fillers like a Patrick Williams contract or whatever, and like you can maybe get him. But I think you would tank your roster's ability to try to surround that superstar effectively. So you would just have a superstar but no extra assets to work with. So I think personally it's not really feasible right now, but that can change. But these guys like Asenge, for example, like my whole rant about Asenge last stream, which, you know, he had a good game in the G League last night, but like my whole rant about him was like, it's not just important for the Bulls just to develop him and hope that he plays well for us, which that seems like the plan is that Asenge is going to be playing for us moving forward. But like, it's also important that if just to give us an option that he needs to develop well and be enticing to other teams, because if he turns into a very enticing prospect, that's trade value, right? And I hated what the Bulls were doing earlier with the Asenge, and I didn't know what they were doing before last night, which then last night he had a hell of a game. But I'm happy he's down in the G League. He's getting his time now, but hopefully that continues. Like, he needs to continue just being in the G League from here on out. Yeah. Just got nothing to say. That won't be a bannable offense. I got you. I'm gonna keep quiet and let you do your thing. By the way, it just showed how much better bums like Vooch are looking when Giddey is playing. I do think that Giddey is definitely a big factor for Vooch for sure. He definitely finds Vucevic the best at the 3-point line, but even just down low as well. But Vooch just has to be better, man. Like I'm really pissed off with how many people have talked about how like, oh, Vooch has done such a great job posting up this season. Like, that's the reason why Vucevic has been so good. And like, you know, Stacey King keeps talking about, you know, the Bulls gotta get back to posting up Vooch and everything like that. Hate to break it to y'all. Vooch has been pretty awful in the post this season, if you wanted to know. Where is he? I legit just, I saw him earlier and now I don't know where you went. Yeah. Here's Vooch in the post this season, guys. First and foremost, he's not getting that many possessions. So for all the people that like to try to gaslight you into thinking that Vucevic is getting possessions in the post, he's not, okay? And that's a good thing. But also, when he has been in the post, he's been one of the worst players in the post. Like, just straight up. He has been flat out awful in the post, okay? Don't tell me that Vucevic is being effective in the post. It is not a thing. It has never been a thing. Like, just don't tell me that, all right? The people that tell me that Nikola Vucevic needs to post up guys and it's good for the offense, it's makes the offense flow and everything like that. No, it doesn't. Like, I cannot for the life of me explain to you how much that I've been on this for a long time now, but posting up Vucevic is the stupidest thing in the world if it's against a big man. Now, if Vucevic has a smaller man sealed down low, he better convert it, right? Like, you should give him the ball and he better convert it. But even with those situations, he's missed some. But posting out Vooch against any big man is just like one of the most terrible decisions in the world. I'm sorry. It is genuinely like horrible. This is like, it's so funny because like there's people that claim that Vucevic is doing so well in the post, and I'm like, I dare you to go look at those like post stats right now and tell me he's still doing well. Like, he is just, the reason why Vooch was doing so well early in the season was not because of the post. He was just being set up really well, off pick and rolls, trailing 3-point shots, right? Like, he wasn't post ups. Like, I don't know why people don't understand this, but yeah, don't tell me this. It's flat out bad from Vooch. Anyway, also, here's Anthony Davis in the post this season. He also doesn't look good either. So if you're looking to get a post-up option on Anthony Davis, he's not going either. It doesn't look good at all. Sorry, I'm catching up on chat here. rather take Zion than AD. I would also rather take Zion than AD with the way that we're at right now. Zion's definitely more of a playmaker in a sense, but he is also not healthy, so he's also cheaper. Yeah, I'd rather take Zion over AD, but I don't love either, honestly. About the AD rumor, I'm not very comfortable with saving the Mavs and getting the 3-year injury-prone albatross off their hands. I said it. Yeah, I mean, I'm with you, honestly, Box, honestly. Well, if I could read dog walk Vucevic, imagine what would have happened if a more athletic and stronger Durden was playing. Yeah, bro. I mean, if Durden was playing, who's having an insane start to the year, which I was concerned about him early in the season, but he's completely flipped that script. Bro, I mean, it would have been horrible tonight. Tonight's game almost gave me an aneurysm. I would only trade Vooch plus P. Will for AD. Yeah, and honestly, I'm... unless I'm getting a pick back, I honestly wouldn't even do that. I'm good. You want some extra pieces like Julian Phillips, Stealing Terry, etc. by all means. Anything else is going to be just us rescuing the Mavs for sure, yeah. Our GM said no for an unprotected first for Derek Queen. Yeah, don't get me wrong, this still pisses me off to this day. Like, as much as I love Asenge, like, if I knew that was available, I would have taken that immediately. Like, unprotected first from the Pelicans, like, I gave up the 13th overall, I get the 23rd overall pick, or I guess it was the 12th overall pick from us, and I get the 23rd overall pick and still get someone in that draft, and I get an unprotected first round pick for next season, like, or this current season. Like, yeah, it's an absolute travesty from AK that he didn't accept that, but just shows that he's not looking to develop guys or to rebuild necessarily. That this isn't a rebuild, this is a retool on the fly. Player option in year 3, so it's basically a 3-year commitment for a 32, 4 months away from 33, who's also gotten fat lately, and he's also just like, it's not just him being fat, like his overall just efficiency just keeps continuing to go down. Like AD, when they won the championship that year, like his 3-point shooting was so much better. I don't know what happened, but like it's just suddenly now it's not there. Like he's consistently shot like under 30% from 3-point range for a while now. But like the year they won the ring, like I mean it's not amazing, but like he was at least like kind of respectable in a sense. And maybe not even respectable, but just like I already think you're not great here, but like how did you get worse? This just mind boggles me. I don't understand how this has happened with him. And the reason why it's big is just because as he gets older and loses his athleticism, right? Like the 3-point shot's going to become more important. And so to see that it's not getting any better is like nothing good. It doesn't make me feel good at all. So yeah, I'm like, it's not just the fact that like he looks fat right now, which I mean, bro, I'm sorry to you. Like, I'm sorry if you're going through some stuff, but like, it's the fact that he hasn't like seemed to have increased any parts of his game. Like, he's not adjusting to the lack of athleticism he's gonna have as he moves forward. Now, granted, he's 7 foot, so you know there's always that for him, but like, I feel like he's always kind of relied a little bit more on his finesse and his athleticism compared to just kind of balling guys, and obviously he hasn't relied on his shooting. So, yeah, he's gonna have to adjust at some point. What you're saying is we need a Jordan Clarkson. We're gonna create a shot, but probably won't make it. No, not Jordan Clarkson. We need a guy that's very efficient at creating his own shot and a 3-level scorer. But yeah, very funny. I think he'd argue be number 1 in the East. No. To me personally, no. I don't think so. I don't think Anthony Davis is a number 1 in the Eastern Conference. Like, Brunson's better. Mitchell right now is better. And even then, I consider even Mobley better. I guess not scoring-wise, but just overall effectiveness-wise. And Carroll and Wagner should both be better, but, like, they're both having their issues currently at this moment in time. Cunningham is better. And so, yeah, the Bulls could add to that pile and, like, will be, like, a, you know, an alright team, but I think it puts you in the dumps. Like, you're in a worse spot, personally, and I already think you're not in a great spot, but to give up any future assets is, like, a little bit scarier. Then also, if you talk about Asenge's G League performance, I have not yet. I briefly talked about it, but yeah. I'll talk about this as well. I watched all of Asenge's G League game, and very good by him. I'll talk about some things. I wrote some notes down. You don't really expect Matas to jump from 8 points per game to 30. It doesn't work like that. I meant in the sense of 20, but like, yeah, I mean, there's a reason why I said 14. Like my expectation was 12. And then the preseason happened with Matas, and then I said 14. But there were definitely people that said that he could be averaging 20. I'm like, yeah, I don't know about that. He needs to, I think, in my opinion, I think Matas needs to develop into a 20-point per game scorer at some point for this Wolves team's future. He's definitely on his way to becoming one of our top 3 options going forward, but he needs to clean up his dribbling first. He gets too loose too often. Yeah, I completely agree. Yeah. Catalina wine mixer. You talking about Vucevic's post-ups? Yeah. Saw a tweet where Vucevic over the last 4 games has averaged 10 points, 6 rebounds, 37% shooting. That sounds about right. I mean, center averaging 37% shooting, like that's insane. Yeah. Yeah, he took advantage of him every time he sealed the smaller player down low. That's it. Yeah. I mean, Giddey did a really good job of finding him then, but like also Giddey did just a good job of like attacking the paint and then just spraying it back out to Vucevic at the top of the key. It's, you know, it wasn't always pretty, but like Giddey was still able to get the dribble penetration to, you know, collapse his, you know, Vucevic's defender to spray it back out to him. So, you know, yet again, we need playmaking, you know. That's a Stacey Wild about his post game, and the casuals simply parroting Stacey is wild. Well, it's not even just like some of the casuals too. It's just like it's some of these guys that think that they really understand what the Bulls are doing now, and I'm like, bro, like, I give you some props for the whole depth argument in a sense, which I'm still, you know, I'm still arguing that the depth is not as good as some people think, but like the fact that these people are saying that like, see, if you just like put Vooch in the post and like get him touches and like we swing the ball around and everything like that, it's so much better for the offense. And I'm just like, that's not what we're doing. Like, that's the last thing we're doing. Like, what are you watching? Vooch post-ups are the worst thing. It's straight up a ball stopper. It slows the game down, and he's very inefficient from that part of the floor. It's just so bad. Yeah. This match just seemed easier with Giddey, but now we have a 6'1" Jones and 5'11" Carter on at the same time. I mean, hey, right? That's our great depth, right? AD's a sub 30% career 3-point shooter, and somehow people are saying his shooting is what makes him better than Giannis. Is like, what? Oh, bro. The people that said that were insane. Like, I remember like people had those conversations about like, is Giannis where's AD compared to Giannis? Like, I'm sorry, like Giannis is by far just so much better. It's not even close. And I even think that with Giannis, like you can even kind of see this season, like you can kind of see he's losing his step a little bit, in terms of like having like quick twitch explosiveness that he had in like his, you know, like his breakout seasons, right, or his MVP years. But he's still better. He's just still so much better. And even 3-point shooting wise, I think Giannis is still better this season. And you know, he's not taking that many, which is good, but like he's actually like been like pretty all right from 3-point range. Like, yeah, like this season alone, he's like been all right from 3-point range. But still, I mean, like, yeah, this is never going to be a part of his game, but his mid-range game is like actually pretty solid. 80s is like, you know, it's been pretty good at most of his career, but like that's all it is. Giannis is a very clear better playmaker though, and can dribble the basketball and get to the rim at will still. Even if I do think that like I do kind of see like he's not like what he was in his MVP years, but like even with that being said, he's still just unstoppable right now. So the people that said that about AD and Giannis is just not, like, I'm sorry, they're not on the same level. This guy is by far better and is much higher on my, you know, all-time players. Giannis is ultimate dog who do everything AD does, but better minus the free throws. Yeah, it's like, it's pretty much, that's it. Free throws, I guess. But like, everything else, rebounding, Giannis is better. Yeah, passing, Giannis is better. I mean, I guess honestly, like, I mean, even now with block shots, like, I'll still say AD, but like, it's not like that ridiculously different right now. Again, this is still, we'll see what this is, right? Like, is this current AD, or are we gonna see more of like what we saw last season from Anthony Davis? I'm not sure, but yeah, I'll give the stocks to AD still, but I think Giannis is still a damn good rim protector right now. And it's just still hella efficient. Let's bring the ball down and play. Yeah, and then playmaking transition is just all Giannis. It's so much better. AD is like Giannis Slay, while super injury prone, his movement still seems more fluid than Vucevic. I mean, I agree that his movement is still more fluid than Vucevic if he's right, but I think that's a pretty low bar. Like, Vuce doesn't really move very well in general. So I think you could go and look at a lot of guys and be like, yeah, like they move better than Vooch. Now are they, gonna put up, 17 points per game every night? Maybe not, but they'll probably bring better defense overall. So does it even out? Where he loses in blocking, he makes up with his help defense, covering like half the court when he has it and turns it out. Yeah, I mean, when Giannis wants to, he could still be a really good defender. He's definitely taking some plays off. I could definitely see it this season, even with not playing as many minutes. Like they're definitely managing him throughout this year. But yeah, I can definitely tell that he's not going at like 110% at all times like he used to be able to. But even with that being said, he's still just being so much better. I think we've gotten it's legitimately I think voters fatigue with some of these with Giannis. Actually, never mind. I mean, he's been top 3 in MVP voting, which is Jokic is just so damn good that Giannis has just had to unfortunately be 3rd in MVP voting every year now. I mean, bro, he's basically putting up his MVP stats still. It's just insane just to look at. Yeah, this guy is very different. I'm very much, I'm happy I got to see him in live because I've been to Bucks games and everything. What I noticed over the past 3 seasons is that Vooch's offense makes up for his lack of defense, but when his offense is non-existent, it makes everything look really bad. I mean, yeah. To me, so I think not the last 3 seasons for Vooch. I think last season and this season, at least at the start, right? I think the offense is made up for his lack of defensive capabilities, right? I think the season prior, so again, just to pull up what I'm talking about here, okay? So remember last season, he had probably his best season arguably as a Bull, okay? This was pretty solid overall efficiency from him. It's much better compared to what we've seen from him in a Bulls uniform, above 50% from the field, 40% from 3-point range, right? This was very solid from Vooch, okay? This season was still not good from Vooch, okay? I understand everyone's oh, well, still 18 and 10. There's a major difference to me of last season's 18 and 10 versus this season's 18 and 10, okay? He shot 29% from 3-point range. It was just flat out bad from Vooch. He was he had some of the most wide open looks from 3-point range, and he missed the most. There's a very clear difference to me of how I look at these 2 seasons, and they're very similar numbers, right? But it bothers the shit out of me where it's everyone's well, a double machine, but I'm I look at these two seasons with very similar numbers. They're very different, okay? One season he is very efficient, which was last season, right? He's very efficient. He's shooting nearly 60% on 2-point shots, okay? And he's shooting very well from 3-point range. And then the prior season, it's very similar numbers, but he is shooting an abysmal 29% from 3-point range, not as efficient on 2-point shots, 48% from the field. To me, in this day and age, if you're a center, you got to be shooting 50% from the field or better. Even if you shoot threes, I feel with your size, you should still be aiming for 50% or better. We have centers shooting 70% or better. So with Vooch, he has to hit his threes to be effective. And so I think these 2 seasons are just very different, at least in my opinion. This year it's been off to a really good start. Obviously, he came into tonight shooting nearly 50% from 3-point range, but these past now 3 games, if you include tonight, has been very bad. It's been pretty bad from him. So I think that's a big reason why the Bulls have been losing. You're missing his offense suddenly, when that's been pretty consistent. Giddey, I think, does play a part, but I even think that in that Cavs game, for example, Giddey was playing for part of that Cavs game. Vooch wasn't that effective at all, even when he was fully healthy. So I think Vooch just has to figure it out. He just has to find a way to just kind of figure things out here, and be all right, well, I got to go back to finishing my shots in the paint because he's missed a ton recently, and the 3-point shot for him, because of his inability to play good defense, it has to go down, because if it doesn't, then it just clogs up the offense, and our offense is already in a weird spot because we're we're win by committee offense. We have to be 5 out for this to work, so it's gonna have to work like that. Yeah, I mean, I agree though. Thomas Banks, like at least from what we saw earlier this season, and then for last season, right? Like if Vooch is playing like this efficiently in offense, like yeah, like you take that because like that was basically almost all-star level Vooch last season, right? We'll take that even if he's not shooting or if he's not playing the best defense. We'll take his perimeter scoring at the center position and his overall efficiency at the center position, right? That's even with his not so great defense, you take that. But these past games, right? For example, or like that 2023-24 season where he's not that efficient and he's having bad games and he's missing a 3-point shot. Like it's just unfortunately it's very overall bad for Vooch. Like he might still find a way to get to 18 points in some of these games, but if he's like taking a bunch of shots to get there and he's taking mid-range shots and missing post shots and stuff like that, it's just not that effective. Vooch has to hit his threes and make the interior shots. Like I want to get rid of the mid-range shots so bad, which for give him credit for this season, he's mostly done that this year. Like we're limiting this, but like just to show you, okay, like I mean we'll go to this season, okay, like look how many mid-range shots he took this season. And I know it's like season to season, but I'll even go back to last season, okay, just to show the difference in like understanding where Vooch was on the floor. You can tell that there was a concerted effort from Vooch to not be so much in the mid-range, right? We gotta get rid of this because he's just like his mid-range shot, like when you look at some of these seasons for him, like it wasn't that good. Like this year, for example, let's see. I mean, honestly, it was actually pretty all right in the mid-range this season. Although try to limit it. Where was it? This year for Vooch in the mid-range. Let's see. Actually, these are okay numbers, honestly. This was another bad year though. But either way, right? It's like if you're shooting about like 40% from like mid-range, like you might as well shoot threes, right? This is a better year for him overall. Like you got to be better with your shot selection. Yeah, that's not to say to never take mid-range, but yeah, we got to be better. Guys turned it on during this 2016-17 season and never let it go since. Extremely consistent production. Oh, for sure. Yeah, he's been one of the best. Yeah, I agree with this. I don't know if I have the mental capacity to withstand a second Boozer playing for my Bulls. I'll admit it's PTSD. It'll be different this time. I mean, honestly, if we somehow luck into Cam Boozer, like I think it'll be different this time. I mean, he looks really good. But I mean, I don't blame you. But yeah, it should be better. No inner strength, no mental fortitude or resilience. Carlos cooked me for at least 3 generations of boozers. Bro. Come on, man. We can't be doing that to someone's, next generation, man. I know that happens a lot though, and especially in Bulls, fandom, right? Reinsdorfs. We're cooked with the Reinsdorfs forever, but come on, man. Yeah, Boozer looks really good right now. I mean, it's early, but hey man, give me the top 3 this draft, and I'll feel a lot better. Still gotta make some moves still. Like even let's say if the Bulls luck into a top 3 draft pick, like you still gotta make some moves, but the future looks a lot better. Flakers trade on my 32 in halftime. Oh boy, okay. You know what? I was gonna end the stream at about halftime to go watch that game. Holy shit, that is something. Okay, but instead though, I'm probably gonna go talk about the Asenge's G League debut, which was good to see. Holy shit, man. Oh wow. Okay, Luka's probably having. I mean, like Luka had like a bad shooting night against the Spurs technically, but like he made it up with the free throws and stuff. But this is probably like his first bad night officially, which is crazy to say because Luka's just been on an insane run to start the year. But this is definitely his first night, I think, probably bad. And this is also shocking. I mean, like Reeves has been also insane to start the season. So LeBron come back. I honestly, bro, I don't know who's like. I know the Trailblazers won against the Thunder, but like. The Thunder are doing this without J-Dub. And like they're even missing guys still tonight. Like I mean, they're still missing Dort and Williams, and it's just like, bro, this team is just so damn good. You want depth? Go look at this team. This guy's been awesome. AJ Mitchell has just been insane. I mean, I honestly don't know who's gonna be stopping the Thunder. I only saw Noah's offensive highlights. How did he do defensively? So yeah, I watched that entire G League game for Noah Sengue. Unfortunately, I cannot bring up any of it on stream here. I would love to, but I'm not gonna go ahead and just bring it up on stream, unfortunately, because I got hit with copyright earlier in the stream. I'm not gonna do it again. Sengue, when it comes to his defense, if you're wondering, he was on Oladipo for most of the night. Okay, and I think when he was on Oladipo, like, he actually did like a really good job. And yes, I'm talking about that Victor Oladipo. Victor Oladipo just got signed to the Wisconsin Herd. And so he's trying to get back into the NBA via the G League. And so the Bulls put him on Oladipo. And yeah, I know Oladipo's washed. Like, he's, you know, he's having so many leg issues, and like injuries have killed his career. But like, that's still, you know, like, that's still a name that I'm like, hey, like, I know that Oladipo has the IQ to effectively, like, kind of think about how to score and such. Like, he's, you know, I can definitely tell he can still kind of ball. But there were many possessions where Oladipo, or I would say many, but there were multiple possessions where Oladipo tried to ISO against Sengue, and Sengue held his own. He did a really good job of forcing Oladipo to stay on the perimeter and take a perimeter shot, and he didn't follow him. And he was able to just stick with him with this speed and everything. It was really solid to see. So I was glad to see that from Sengue. They had Sengue also guarding Oladipo when it came to pick and roll moments, and I think he did okay. There were definitely some ish moments, but there were also some pick and rolls where he got over that screen really effectively and took away options, stuck onto Oladipo on the screen, and he did well. I think what Sengue did really well defensively, though, was that you can tell that he is very aware of like where rotations always are. Like, you can tell, like, for example, like, I'm talking about off-ball defense here. Like, you can definitely see where it's like, oh, so this guy drove, this guy helped, I got to be here. Like, he did a good job of understanding, like, I got to take that man next, and rotate over and come off my guy, and then take that guy in if he gets the ball. He did a good job of that. The bad stuff defensively, though, with the Sengue was that there were times when he was guarding like anybody. It wasn't just Oladipo. That he would try to like, I'm talking off-ball defense. He would try to really deny him the ball. And he got back cut a couple times because of it. And so, yeah, I can very clearly see Sengue really trust his length, that like, if let's say someone does try to back cut that or try to back cut him, like, he thinks that he has the length to, like, you know, prevent that from happening. But there were definitely moments throughout that game where I could tell that like he was not aware of like, oh, that guy's like already this far ahead of me on a back cut, that he would, you know, it ended up burning him. So a little hyper aggressive, and when it comes to like trying to play the passing lanes, they had him do a lot of things though overall on the defensive end. Like, they had him guard Oladipo to then switching, which looked okay, and you know, trying to be like in the passing lanes and rotating. So it was an overall, like, you could tell that, you know, the G League practice paid off, and he knew where to be on rotations and stuff like that. Biggest thing for me was that so Sengue had 25 points, or he had 23 points in the first half. He had 25 points with like 11 minutes left in the third quarter. Unfortunately, he only ended with 28, right? But when it came to those like first 25 for him, like, it looked so simple. I mean, there were the highlights obviously, but like, I was watching him, you know, not just through the highlights. I watched him the entire game, and it just like, he was making just quick decisions, right? It was very simple basketball for him, that it wasn't like he was ball hogging, it wasn't like he was forcing it. It was very just like, all right, like, if I get the ball, if I'm wide open, I shoot it. If I, you know, come off a curl, I drive it. And then there was a lot of points for him that came off of offensive rebounding, or just fighting for the offensive rebound, and he wasn't credited for the rebound, but he was in the right spot, and he was able to put it back up and in. So I think he was credited for only 3 offensive rebounds, but I swear to God, he had, I think it was like 5 throughout the game. Like, it could, like, you can say like they're offensive rebounds, but it's just getting the ball again after a missed shot. You know, the ball just kind of happened to go to him, and he was in the right spot, and he put it back up and in. Throughout most of the game, Asenge was trying to get the rebound on either side of the floor. Like, when he was in the game, shot goes up, it's like, boom, I'm fighting for the rebound immediately. And that's huge, right? Like, that's something that I think he's going to have to bring. And you can just tell, like, throughout most of that game. It wasn't every possession, but it was most possessions on both ends, right? Whether it was offensive or defensive. Shot goes up, he's fighting for every rebound. He did not get a rebound, I don't think, in, like, the first, like, 9 minutes of the game. But, like, I don't think that's his fault. Like, I genuinely was watching him fight for most of those rebounds in, like, the first, you know, minutes of the game. But it just happened to not go as, like, it didn't go to him. So, that's going to be huge for him moving forward. Like, he has to be a guy on the boards. And he was fighting for a lot of rebounds, and he did well. Other big thing that I think is huge is that, you know, we talked about a lot about Asenge's, like, you know, his scoring comes from, like, the free throw line and such. Like, he got to the free throw line only, like, a little bit in that game. It wasn't a lot. So, he scored 28 without, you know, getting to the free throw or depending on the free throw line. He scored 28, like, in many different ways. And so that was really good to see. The jump shot, I mean, we can all go and, like, look at it here, but the jump shot honestly looked pretty all right. It looks a lot better compared to what we've seen beforehand, where it kind of looks like he's just kind of launching in a sense. You know, I'll bring up this because I can show this because it's on Twitter, but like, this is his first three of the game here. Okay, like, this looks a lot better. Like, he looks a lot more straight in this. Like, the legs look a lot more balanced here. And it looked like a much just kind of better, like, softer, and I guess that's the way I can, like, put it. It looks like a softer shot. Like, it doesn't look like it's just gonna bounce hard off the rim. So there's a lot of good signs here. And sorry, I'll back it up and play it one more time here. But, like, this looked really good. It's off, like, pretty quickly, and it looks pretty smooth. So this was good. I want to show here. I'll just bring this off and try to go through the video here. But he hit another three.
And there's Essengay.
It's not this. I'll show the next play as well here to show you, like, hey, this is some encouraging signs about, like, some moves that he's looking to do. But okay, yeah, here's the next three. So here's the second three he made. And now, so he did not make a three after this made three that I'm about to show you here, but he was taking a lot of threes in the second half, and I think it's partially because I think that his team kind of missed some opportunities for him to get the ball. So he kind of resorted to the three-point shot, but, like, it looked honestly pretty good, even on the misses. But, like, look here, like, this looked pretty solid. It looks so much more just smoother and softer. It's just the best way I can describe it. Yeah, so the biggest thing, it's hard to see, unfortunately, on this angle, but I'm always looking at his legs, because Asenge's legs, when it came to his shooting, like, it wasn't always consistent where the weight was. Like, sometimes it was, like, too much, like, on the right leg, and then the next time I watch him shoot it, it looks fine. So I can't really see it on this one, but, like, it looked better, and this looks a lot more straight still. So this is going to be obviously a big part of his game moving forward, and we will see. Like, it looks pretty good. Even on his misses last night, it looked really solid. Here's the first made three. This is good. Now this next play I'm gonna show you was something that I was taking notes of. I was just like, oh, that's interesting. Like, this is new to me. Have not seen this from Asenge when I was scouting him at all. But so when he decides to drive here, okay, I know I'm an Epic fan, I'm sorry, but when he decided to drive with his left, and we kind of get knocked off his path, he would kind of resort to this move here. It doesn't look pretty, but it's good to see he has a counter. So, like, he gets knocked off, right? He's no longer able to go where he wants to. He's not able to get to the rim all the way. But because of that, he kind of resorts to this little floater shot that he's able to just kind of bank off. And he did this multiple times throughout the game. Like, he was able to make this shot multiple times. So that's actually really good. Like, he has a counter when, like, if his left-handed drives don't go great, he has a counter to kind of get a shot up still. or something to like kind of maybe draw a foul. So that was a good sign. And then the next play is the last play I'm going to show you. I'm sorry about the video quality here, but to pay attention to how his drive is, because this has been the biggest thing with him, at least in my opinion, was his ball handling, right? It's like we gotta clean up the ball handling, not butterfingers, etc. But this looked pretty solid. Take note that he doesn't dribble a lot on this, right? This is just a simple, handoff, pick and roll, so zoom action, but you see that he's going to dribble very little in this, and he's going to pick up the ball quicker, and he's going to use his length and athleticism to get to the basket, okay? Instead of like trying to dribble his way to the basket, he's instead, using his size and length and athleticism to just get to the rim and, use those 2.5 steps to his best advantage, right? So watch, like he picks it up here, and so he's going to pick up the ball from, above the free throw line and take it, grab it, hold on to it, and go. Because he was getting in trouble earlier when we saw like summer league and preseason, where he would probably take an extra dribble there, right, and try to like maybe run into the defender to try to get contact, and that's where he loses the ball. Here though, he's picking up the dribble quicker, and he picked up the dribble. He picked up the dribble like basically here, and 1, 2, right, and he's at the rim. So that's the biggest stuff with the Senge. It's like, I'm glad to see that this is getting ironed out, because I do think that his dribble is still like, it's very clearly still a work in progress here, but he did this multiple times. Like this was very solid to see these little like handoff pick and rolls from him, where like, boom, I can go ahead and do this. And he moved pretty well, so I'm happy to see this. And I think his last play, okay, I guess it doesn't show his entire game, unfortunately, but his last play he scored on was also a handoff pick and roll, so it looked very similar to that. So I was overall, I was pretty pleased with what I saw. Yeah, I think the jump shot is looking smoother, which is great to see. His defensive awareness is like, it honestly like continues to impress me, which is like kind of shocking, because again, he's 18 years old. He's still learning a bunch of like NBA level of like play and everything like that, but like he has so many physical tools that can be so effective defensively on many aspects, right? Whether it is perimeter defense, which I think is going to probably be his calling card, but it also in help defense of like understanding like, hey, like I gotta, if he's the weak side defender and he comes over to help on a pick and roll, but then he's still able to recover out to the 3-point line with not on roller skates, right? Like that's going to be where his real value is going to come into play defensively. And so yeah, definitely a lot of good signs, I think, defensively. I was not expecting to see in a G League game, in his first G League game ever, right? He's not with this team 24/7. He's been up and down, and so to see that he was effectively kind of rotating and like picking up like, oh, I gotta rotate here in certain moments was like pretty impressive to me. So I'm pleased with that. It's gonna be interesting to see, because I know a lot of people have talked about like, is he a 4? Is he a 3? Right? Like oddly enough, the way I look at it personally is that's just that like, if Buzelis and Asenge are the future, I've always just talked about it. It's just like, I think Asenge is gonna probably be more off ball when it comes to offense, and so you're gonna see stuff like what I showed you here, where it's like 3-point shot is gonna be important. It's gonna be a lot of drives, right? Some handoff options for him. You're not gonna be seeing him isolate too often, like how we're kind of seeing Buzelis get some of those isolation opportunities, right? But you'll see, a pick and roll here and there for him. You'll see obviously the catch and drive situations for him, and obviously cutting and stuff. But I think defensively, I think that you're going to be seeing Asenge be more on ball defensively and like, guarding more on the perimeter. I think for Buzelis, I think he's going to be more on ball on offense, but then for defense, I think he's going to be more off ball. I think he's going to be more of the help defender. I think Buzelis, like as good as he's guarded some of the smaller guys like early in his career, I do kind of see like they're starting to take advantage of his lack of speed in those areas, where I think Asenge can kind of keep up with them better. So that's just kind of the way I put it. Like, I don't really look at it as like someone needs to be the 3 or the 4. I look at it as like, what's your role on offense? Are you on ball forward? Or are you an off ball forward? And I think that Asenge needs to be a little bit more off ball, and Uzas should be a little bit more on ball. But what I will say is this: if Asenge can figure out his dribbling and, you know, throughout the game, like, show like these little you know, handoff options to be an actual effective option for him, right? Like, that's gonna be in, like, putting some interesting ideas into my head of like, oh, he can definitely be taking more on-ball opportunities. Yeah, here's like a offensive rebound here, like it's like a tip, but yeah, like, you know, he's in the right spot. Here's a drive, right? Here's a little floater again, right? It's like this, he's driving with his left, he gets knocked off his path, he just kind of floats it up there, and it worked. Like, it's definitely something. Again, I don't know how legit of a move this is going to be, maybe in the NBA, but like, it looks honestly like a work in progress here, but it's something to have, right? It's, you know, he drove with his left, he got knocked off, and he does a little floater with his right, and it goes in. So that's an on-ball opportunity. Here's another offensive rebound for him. Just gets it and puts it up back and in, using his size to his advantage, right? Rebound defensively, or sorry, offensively again, and just gets the board. Like, so it didn't show everything, but like I said, though, if he's gonna show some of these options where we can run these sort of like handoff pick and rolls, and like, he can definitely be someone that's a little more on ball, but it's gonna, you know, require him to get the dribbling skills to the proper level, right? Yeah, I'm really intrigued. It was really a good sign to see this from Asenge, because I know that a lot of people are talking about like Queen and everything like that, and don't get me wrong, I don't want Queen to fail, and he might have had another good game tonight, but I've been adamant though when it comes to Queen. Like, my biggest concern about him, and yeah, he had a hell of a game tonight, but like, guys that play the center position and are not gonna be like Jokic level, and even Jokic has gotten better defensively. Like, if you don't play defense, I really get concerned about your overall sort of impact. Vooch is a big prime example of it, but like even Sabonis, for example, is a guy that is like pretty effective on offense, but you can tell that when it comes to Sabonis that, and this has been a big talk this season, like, defensively he doesn't bring any value, and it kills his overall impact. Now, if Queen is going to become a power forward or something like that, then, you know, I'll shut up. But I think the plan was for him to kind of be like this sort of like point center type of thing. But I don't know. I personally just, though, I would rather a center be, you know, have the defensive abilities before we start talking about like offensive stuff from our center. But that's just me, my opinion overall. I know we're goofing around too much against the Blazers. Yeah. Never expect or hope a player to make a serious comeback after a torn patellar tendon. Oh, I completely agree, but then I know that the Oladipo didn't have the best overall medical team, so I feel bad for him with that. His defensive awareness seems really, really good. I like that. I mean, it's definitely for an 18-year-old who has never played in like, he's played in like, you know, one NBA level type of game. Like, he played against the Portland Trailblazers last preseason. He was 17, but to never be in like an NBA level type of game, right? Besides Summer League, but to see that he like kind of understood the rotations and everything like that, and, you know, his length really does, you know, cause a serious problem for a lot of guys. Like, that's really good, and he moves pretty well with it. So, I know a lot of people didn't like the pick and everything like that, but like, this was my guy, unless obviously, you know, we're gonna trade the pick, which we should have. But like, okay, I just keep saying, like, he's not, to me, he's not Dalen Terry because he's 6'10". Like, that's the difference to me. It's like DT, like, he has like decent size as a guard, but, you know, the 3-point shot had to come around. Asenge is gonna have the ability to affect the game a lot more than just what Dalen Terry can do, right? Dalen Terry's supposed to be like a good ball handler, never ever became one. Can't finish at the rim, is inconsistent from the 3-point line. Doesn't really rebound or assist that effectively. Like, it's unfortunate for him. But with Asenge, I'm looking at him and I'm like, he should be able to do a lot of things. Like defensively, I think he has more tools. You know, can guard bigger guys, but also should, you know, effectively stay in front of smaller guys at times. And then he should be able to rebound more effectively, get to the free throw line more effectively, and score in the interior more consistently than Perry. But he is a project, and I'm very much aware that Asenge is a project, but I think that you have to take a risk like this because of just where you're drafting. Like, it's unfortunate, but it's where you're at. You know, you don't get more kind of safer picks when you're drafting late lottery when you're trying to find really good talent. Like, yeah, it's not, you know, drafting in like the late 20s or something like that, but if you're really looking for talent in like late lottery and not gonna be picking like a 23-year-old, like you're gonna be having to take some like more of a risk at that moment compared to if you're picking top 5, right? So I don't really think it's a good decision, but we will be tracking this, and I'm happy he's in the G League, and it looks like he's going to continue staying in the G League. That's important. He's got to stay in the G League, bro. We cannot have him keep doing this whole up and down BS stuff. Like, just, it's either you got to stay in the G League or you're going to come up and play minutes, right? It's either or. I do not want him just on the bench and just riding the bench the entire game up here. He's got to play minutes. If he's going to be on an actual NBA team, play minutes. If he's not, send him in the G League and get him as many reps as possible. I like what I saw first game. It's one game, though. The jump shot's going to be vitally important, and that looks solid so far. So I think he's made some strides, but I'm looking forward to seeing if it's going to get any better, and if he can continue to show improvement throughout the year, which will be great. Oh, wow. All right. Next message. I have a strong feeling we'll see him either on the West Coast trip or that 7-game stretch of bad teams. So I think we're not going to see him on the West Coast trip. I think we're going to see him mostly in the G League then. You know, it's not the easiest West Coast trip. I mean, like, I know that we should win against Utah, but I've talked about, like, that's not a walk in the park. Like, it would make sense to play him against Utah, but, like, I really don't see that happening. I would like to see it, but I don't really see it happening. So that's unfortunate, but we will see. I doubt you play him against Denver. That's a tough matchup. And then Portland, like, I could also see that being a good matchup, but like, eh. But I agree, like, here, right? Like, Washington, New Orleans, Charlotte, like, maybe we see him here. This might be a good time. But my only pushback against that idea is just that it seems like Billy really wants to win every game possible. I know it didn't look like that tonight because the Bulls were just absolutely just a terrible team tonight. But it does seem like Billy's trying to win every game possible, and so I think that's kind of like, if that's the case, then he's not going to play a rookie. But I don't know. I would like to see him if he's up here. Again, if he's not, just stay in the G League. We're good. I'll be fine with that. What's going on, Delbert? Did you watch the game tonight? Because I had an absolute rant to start the stream. Unacceptable tonight. Just flat out unacceptable tonight. I am appalled by what we saw tonight, and I'm pretty pissed. I was gonna go and hopefully watch a good game, but very clearly this is not a good game. This is an absolute just beatdown. So I was hoping to just finish the stream and go watch some good basketball, but yeah. Guys always seem like a coach to win guy. I don't think he wants a true rebuild. I mean, I think that's why he's still here, right? If the Bulls told him that we're gonna rebuild, then he probably wouldn't be here still. But I'm just like, I don't know. The front office has been talking about development all season long, and like, the way that Billy coaches, I just don't think he's all for development. I think he's all for winning. And if they think that's going to be development, then okay, but I disagree. I would much rather just play the young guys personally. Like, I don't need to play our vets. If the young guys are doing well, then so be it. Play them. That's it. Was horrific. I gotta go back and watch your rant. Yeah. Hopefully the mic is working and everything, but yeah, man. Just I cannot for the life of me understand what the players and coaches were doing tonight. Like, you thought this was gonna be a walk in the park tonight? I'm shocked that you did. But not even that. Like, if you're a player or coach, or sorry, if you're a player, okay, like I don't care that if you've been starting the entire season, like on this team that's supposed to have depth, like your starting spot should not be guaranteed. Like your minutes should not be guaranteed. The players have something to play for, like, and that's to try to make sure that they get their minutes every game. But here we are, and I'm just like, yo, like, what are you guys doing? You like our depth that we so-called think is great just got beat by the Pistons, who have 7 guys out. Like, the Pistons had a guy on a 2-way contract and all their third stringers out there, and we're like, oh, our depth is better though. Like, I'm sorry, the Pistons had 7 guys out, their entire starting lineup out, and you're gonna tell me our depth is better? Like, I don't know. But also to start slow and have bad turnovers to start the game, like, you dug yourself a hole. That's nothing but your fault. Like, that's not like, you know, the other team like just being good. Like, you dug yourself a hole, turning the ball over as badly as you did, giving up those wide open 3-point shots early in the game. Like, yeah, I was going off on everybody. I made a bunch of tweets saying that everyone should be fined tonight. Active players and current coaches should be fined tonight, and I believe that should still happen. You're getting paid millions, so if you're gonna get paid millions and not bring it on a night that you should be winning this game, then I feel like you should be fined a hefty amount. But I know we'll never do that. And then I made the joke that every player and coach should walk to Utah for their next game because we have 3 days. So, you know, if I were in charge of the team, then I'd be like, all right, well, y'all clearly don't want to give an absolute damn. Then, all right, you guys are walking to Utah for our next game because I'm not gonna. Like, you're not going on a plane. Like, fuck you guys. Come out and play better, and you'll be able to fly again. Like, you know, it's all jokes, but it's like, I don't know. Like, I would do anything at this point just to get this team just to play better. Like, what we saw tonight was insanely bad. Unacceptable from everybody. Everyone should be fined. There should be punishments for everybody, but they're never gonna do that. Like, if this was a home game, I genuinely believe that, like, if this was a home game, that every fan that spent tickets for that home game should get refunded. Like, that's how bad this was tonight. Fake comeback at the end, I didn't really even care about it. It's a fake comeback, and even when you got it close, then you messed up again with multiple turnovers and bad defensive possessions. So, unbelievable on all ends. Yeah, I don't have a voice for the rest of the night though, so I'm not gonna be ranting again. But not looking good. If you're wondering now, the Bulls are not looking great overall in the standings. We are now tied with all these teams, but these teams are also right on our heel. Like, we lose again, we're tied with the Magic. We lose again, we're tied with Boston. And all of a sudden, hey, wow, we're at our elusive 11 seed. So, I'm annoyed. And it's honestly, I won't rely, Delbert. I talked about it earlier, but it's made me kind of rethink. It's made me rethink. Like, I was trying to buy into the Bulls, like, you know, if, you know, good start to the year, like, you know, maybe our depth can kind of carry us to, like, being a good overall seed, but, you know, make the playoffs or whatever. But I'm after tonight, bro. I'm like, our depth is not even good against the Pistons third stringers. Like, that's what it made me think tonight. I'm like, what? Again, Jenkins is not on an NBA contract. He's on a 2-way contract, and he obliterated us tonight. Like, so if we're getting outplayed by a 2-way player, then it makes me really think, like, man, our depth might actually be really overrated. So I'm aware we're missing guys, but the Pistons legit had their entire starting lineup out, and plus others. So there's no excuse tonight. There's none. Wasn't really upset about those 3 losses in a row. This one legit made me mad. I mean, those 3 losses in a row, it made me really upset overall, just the way the Bulls ended the games and most of them. And it just shows, it's just like the Bulls need a guy down the stretch of a game, and like Giddey was there for the Bucks game, so like, I mean, you can't say Giddey wasn't there for that game. You know, I gave Giddey the pass for that Cavs game. Like, he was in the game, but like he looked awful and like he wasn't anywhere close. But the Spurs game, I mean, like the Bulls had that one and they just blew it at the end. I blame Billy for part of those Cavs and Spurs losses for bad decisions in terms of the rotation, but yeah, this one is just unacceptable. Like, I don't care if Giddey's out. I don't care that Kobe's out. I don't care that Zach Collins is out. Okay. The Pistons have no one in their starting five playing today. Like, Cunningham out, Harris out, Thompson out, Duran is out, and they just most recently put Isaiah Stewart in the starting lineup at power forward, and he's also out. And if it wasn't going to be those guys, then Jaden Ivey, who has been out, he's out tonight, and Marcus Sasser's out tonight. He's a part of their rotation. Like, they're missing 7 of their top guys, and all 5 of their starters, and you still lose today. Like, I don't care if Giddey's out. It doesn't matter if Giddey's out tonight. You should be better, because again, apparently our depth is better. Apparently we have 3 starting caliber players on our bench. So if that's the case, then what happened tonight? We lost to a bunch of third stringers and no starters. Like, these guys aren't starters. I know Jenkins started yesterday, or their last game for the Pistons, but like, you know, that's due to injury. That's not due to necessity. That's just not because, you know. Yeah, this game is just unacceptable on all levels. But with that being said, I still find a way to turn it into a 2-hour post-game stream, because we can still talk about other stuff. So, all right. I want to say I'm gonna go ahead and just end it here. I'm gonna go ahead and tune into maybe some of these other games going on. I want to maybe watch this and see the highlights of this game here, because very clearly I missed this was on League Pass and stuff, so this wasn't on national television. But this is a hell of a matchup tonight, and I wasn't able to watch this. But triple double for Wembanyama, and then Curry went off for 46. So Spurs, or the Warriors, they've been kind of struggling. Curry's been sick though; he's missed 3 games in a row. But they're back suddenly. So I'm gonna go watch this one. This is a pretty cool overall game. I wanted to watch this game, but this clearly sucks. Luka can't really get it going, it looks like, but maybe I'll tune in. With that being said, I just want to say thank you guys to everyone tuning in for the stream, even though this is like the most infuriating game ever. I sincerely do appreciate people still tuning in. Like, you don't have to tune in and be pissed off with me, but you guys decide to still tune in, so I sincerely do appreciate it. If you have not hit the like button on the stream yet, please do, just for our own just sanity purposes, because dear Lord, man, this is a rough night tonight. Be on the lookout for an article for me coming in these next 3 days. So the Bulls have 3 days off. Their next game is on Sunday against Utah. So again, like Thursday, Friday, Saturday off. So watch the other games. You know, it's if you have NBA TV, go watch it. And Prime on Friday. But our next game is gonna be at 7 p.m. Central Time in Utah. We expect to see Giddey back. Maybe Kobe's going to play in this one, so we will see who's available. But even though the Jazz they're not off to that great of a start, I just think this is not an easy game. Like, the Jazz are 4-7, but like after this game, like, I think every game's losable for the Bulls right now. So, but even before tonight's game, I said that this is not going to be a walk in the park. Like, the Bulls could definitely lose this game. So, Bulls need to redeem themselves soon here. This is a 4-game losing streak, and I don't want to be that, like, I know everyone's like, well, we won in this one, but like, the Bulls didn't play that great in that Philly game either. They did a great comeback, but that first half was awful from them. And if we didn't come back in that Philly game, we'd be on a 6-game losing streak now. It's like, you can argue that the Bulls have not had good games in 6 games in a row. You know, you can argue the Cavs game was maybe a good game, or the Spurs game was maybe a good game for us, but either way, we didn't close it out at the end, right? In that 76ers game, at least we were able to find a way to close it out and come back. But like, all I can think about still is just like that first half. We have 75 points in the first half. So the defense continues to be an issue. And this is gonna have to, especially against this Jazz team that's gonna be launching threes. Like, you got to find a way to stop them, because your offense has not been up to par recently. So I'm concerned about this one. I'm not feeling good about this one at all. And honestly, I don't really feel good about the Bulls at all until we win again. So, good luck to the Bulls. But with that being said, tune in for this game. Again, 7 p.m. Central Time, so 9:30 p.m. post-game stream on his channel. So be there. Yeah, hit the like button on the stream if you've not already. If you're new to the channel like Bulls content, please subscribe. I know the Bulls were terrible tonight, but still subscribe for Bulls content. And again, be on the lookout for article from OddsTap Sportsnet from me. Here is my sorry. Oh, no. I'm gonna go ahead and post my author page in the chat here, so that we can, if you're gonna be looking for articles from me. So definitely be on the lookout for an article from me in the next like 3 days, or honestly, like, next like day or so. Yeah, I'll be writing for sure, no doubt about it. Yeah, thank you guys so much. I appreciate the stream. Thank you for tuning in and chatting with me and everything, and talking with all this stuff with me. Talking to Senge stuff, 80 trade rumors and everything like that. I sincerely do appreciate every one of you. Yeah, I'll be seeing you guys probably on Sunday. All right. Hopefully it's a better game. Hopefully. Yeah, I don't know, man. Rough. All right, y'all. Have a good night. Peace out. I'll see you guys Sunday. Peace.